Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedley, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast, and iHeartRadio Best Kids and Family Podcast Award nominee. We are so happy that you're a part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids family. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Our guest today is Tommy Balaam. He is the author of Captain Fantastic, I've Got You. Before we invite Tommy in, I want to invite you to check out the Solve It for Kids podcast. You can find it at solveitforkids.com. Solve It for Kids is a podcast that gives kids and families a peek into the real world of scientists, engineers, and other experts as they solve problems in their jobs using curiosity, cooperation, creativity, and critical thinking. This is a great podcast that I co-host with our Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, Jennifer Swanson. It is an amazing podcast. We have interviewed such incredible guests. Katie Coleman, astronaut Katie Coleman, Fabian Cousteau, famed oceanographer, nuclear physicist, animal experts, road ecologists, conservation technologists, guys and girls who make robots. It's really a fascinating program. A podcast that you're going to love listening to with your kids. You can find it at solveitforkids.com. Joining us right now from London in the United Kingdom, he is, I was going to say the author, but he's much more than that. He's the driving force behind Captain Fantastic, and we're going to learn that Captain Fantastic is more than just a great children's book. Please welcome to the show, Tommy Balaam. Tommy, how are you?
Thanks for the intro. That's amazing.
We have to thank Tommy. He is, technology isn't always perfect. And when he scheduled the interview, I think he was thinking that he was going to chat with me at noontime in the UK. And actually, it's midnight where he is right now. So we really appreciate him being up and with us at this time.
I don't need sleep, don't worry.
So why don't we just jump right into it? Who is this Captain Fantastic person?
Well, Captain Fantastic started 10 years ago when I was an actor, and a wrestling actor at the time. And I thought, what can I do to make some money? And I was doing a lot of kids' entertainment. I was doing a lot of theatre for children. And I thought, there's a lot of parties out there run by dads that aren't necessarily performance-based, so I was going to be the superhero to save the day from bad kids' parties, and that's kind of how it grew. But Captain Fantastic is, we could say, he's a little bit of an idiot. It goes in head first. What he lacks in confidence and knowledge, he makes up in kindness, in joy, and he loves to spread a bit of happiness.
Well, those are qualities that I think are pretty fantastic, and if I had to choose, I'd probably choose those.
Oh, well, you're too kind. You could be Captain. You could be part of the fantastic team.
Well, this is really neat. I love this. I present educational magic shows here in the United States, primarily at schools and libraries. Occasionally, I will get called to do kids' parties. A lot of people, I don't know if this is the same in the UK, but I know a lot of people here, they kind of look down their nose at magicians and entertainers who do kids' parties, and they kind of poo-poo them, and they have no idea at how much work goes in, how much work a performer has to put into entertaining kids, and entertaining kids in a way that are going to give these kids and their families and their friends a memory that literally will last a lifetime.
That's 100% it. And I think magicians think that the craft is in the magic. Well, actually, it's not. It's in the story. And at the end of the day, it's getting it wrong, and it's making it silly and making it fun. And actually, if you can not be so self-conscious and let yourself go, the children's audience is amazing. Yeah. They give you so much more. They're so giving But it's also terrifying because you have to get down to their level and let go. And I think a lot of people can't do that. And that's why they actually poo-poo it. I don't think it's, I think they're secretly jealous. I think that's the truth.
Well, if they ever experienced what you and I have experienced thousands of times, looking out into an audience, whether it's 5 kids or 5,000 kids, looking out and seeing those eyes that are wide open and filled with joy and see those smiles, they absolutely would be jealous.
Of course, and also it's not just the kids; it's the adults as well. You've got to get everyone on board. It's a skill that people don't probably underestimate, because the magic never has to be amazing, but the story, the show, and the comedy has to be on point. Because if you can, it's all timing, isn't it? But if you can get the whole room laughing and the whole room engaged, you're a showman. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's children. Yeah. You're still a showman.
Yeah. And the other thing that I don't think people, and please, those folks who are listening, please excuse Tommy and I from patting ourselves on the back here. But we just don't have that much chance to do it. But one of the things that I don't think people really understand is that presenting a show that is funny and fast-paced and family-friendly, that's a real challenge. It's relatively easy getting up and telling off-color jokes and doing things that are kind of risque that people laugh at just because they're nervous and they didn't expect. It's totally something totally different to get up and to engage kids and entertain kids and also inspire kids. Definitely.
And it's that memory thing you say, like, how many birthdays do you really celebrate, as you're growing up? And especially as you get older, it's just another day for some people. But, your 5th birthday, your 7th birthday, these become like magical moments that you share with the whole family. And, if you can make that super special, you're on to a winner.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I look back and I invited a number of my friends to entertain my kids, because my kids saw my show all the time. They didn't want it at their birthday parties. And boy, my kids can look back and go, oh yeah, when I turned 7, Sean was over, and when I turned 8, Josh was over, and so many memories. And when they see my friends outside, they remember that, and it's so special.
My kids are only 2, and they're twins. And because of lockdown as well, we launched online, and we're doing this whole free timetable online. And they've actually got to see me in action an awful lot. So now it is like, Captain Fantastic. And I read them the kids' book, and we've got music as well. We try and make it a whole 360 experience. But my children at the age, actually, where they've kind of fallen in love with Captain Fantastic. But I'm sure when they become 5 and they've seen it again and again, they'll be wanting Sean to do their part.
So I definitely want to get into talking to you about presenting the show via technology, and that's a challenge that I'm dealing with right now, and there are definitely pluses and minuses. But let's talk a little bit more about the Captain Fantastic that folks can read right now. You've recently just published a Captain Fantastic book, is that right?
Yes. So the book is called Captain Fantastic, I've Got You, and it's about his superhero best friend dog, Winston the Wonder Dog. And Winston is always brave, always loyal, and always there to help him. But actually, in the story, Winston also has a weakness or a fear, and he's scared of storms. And it's about, actually even the bravest and the strongest of people will have moments of, where they're scared and fearful. And it's making sure you look after, that you've got a friend, that you've got a companion that can help you in those times. And for me, I wrote this story ages ago. And the reason why I wanted to release it, because in lockdown, in a pandemic, everyone was isolated. They didn't speak to their friends. They were becoming lonely, when actually that's a real time when you need other people and you need strong characters around you to look after you. And the whole book rolls around a poem called I've Got You, and Captain Fantastic says the poem to Winston when he's scared. And at the end of it, it doesn't matter because they've got each other.
That's pretty beautiful. And boy, you're right. there's a lot going on in the world. There's the pandemic, and in many parts of the world, the United States, but also different parts around the world, there's a lot of social unrest right now. And 5-year-olds might not be watching the news every day, but they're aware that things aren't going the way they should be going. And yeah, they need their friends, they need their aunties and uncles and grandparents, but they just can't be with them right now.
Exactly. It's an awfully strange time. So this really is, and I think for the entertainer, like you and myself, it's how do we bring a bit of joy and happiness in those times? Mm-hmm. If it's, we launched Lime and we do Zoom parties, and we do this free. Well, we're doing it less and less now because obviously people went back to school and, their network grew again. But yeah, at the beginning, it was all about making sure they had someone online that they could engage with, that was a friendly face, and that just spread a bit of happiness. We were like one of the first companies to jump online, actually. And during our first live, we had over 10,000 people watching just on our Facebook. So that was crazy. And our following on Facebook went from 5,000 to 65,000 in a matter of weeks because of it.
Wow, fantastic. Now, it's not just you. You have a team of entertainers, right?
There's 40 entertainers that work for us, and then we also have 11 franchises, and we've also sold 4 franchises during lockdown.
Wow.
So for me, it was just me on my own, but now, I've gone away and learned more of the business side and grown the business. And now we're proud to be UK's #1, and we've won quite a few awards and stuff. So that's really special.
Wow, fascinating. Now, this is something folks my age, so folks approaching 100, here in the United States, they probably
you don't sound 100.
Well, that's the magic of technology. The folks here growing up who are my age probably watched the Bozo show. We're familiar with Bozo the Clown, and they probably thought that the Bozo that they were watching in Boston was the same Bozo that all the kids all over the country were watching. But in reality, there was a Bozo in every city. And I don't know if it was called franchising at that time, but it was something that happened and was really brought a lot of joy to people. Did you model your business plan on anything in particular, or did this just come to you as a flash of an idea?
So I always wanted to be able to get other people to do the show, because, how do you grow a business if you have to do everything yourself? So it's all about, having a team, having a network of people. So for me, it was about whoever puts on the cape is Superman. So whoever wears the captain outfit is Captain Fantastic, rather than it being, just one person, one individual. And that's why, on all our marketing, it's not just one Captain Fantastic. Obviously, I model all the books on me because I've got a massive ego. But you try and make your brand, strong and unique, and the characters are the same. But what I did as well, so basically it was just, I was Captain Fantastic, I was getting booked up, and then I had some friends that were actors, and they were like, I'd be interested in doing that. And I'd be like, well, I've got a few bookings that I could give you. I'll train you my show, and then off you go. So there was a natural progression, but I always wanted to do it. And there's other companies that, like Bozo, there's other companies here in England that, multiple people do the shows. Mm-hmm. But for us, rather than having an agency where we get, Magic Mike to do something, maybe not the right name there, mm-hmm. but, and then you got, Crazy Kelly, and, rather than being an agency, it's all about Captain Fantastic's our superhero character. Then we do science shows. So our science show is the Dr. Zob character. Then we've got a pirate Polly or Pete, depending. And then we've got a Princess Aria. So they were like our 4 main characters. We've got a few more now, but they're the 4 main characters that fit in the books. And we've also got a little sketch show in there in the sketch show. But what we're trying to do is develop those characters. So when people turn up to the party, they kind of understand that character already, even if it's not the same actor.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
But it's training in acting, you know, if you go see a theatre show, it's not the same cast every time, but it's still the same. It's still Mamma Mia, even though the cast change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a fantastic idea, and I'm so happy that you're bringing this joy to kids all over the United Kingdom. Has it spread outside of the UK?
We've done parties. Well, actually, so I've done parties abroad, but for like high-end clients. So I've gone to France and a few places in Europe where they've like they flew me out there, or you know, paid for me to stay and stuff. So they're quite special. But because of lockdown, so we never really were massively online until lockdown. But because of lockdown, and now we do these Zoom parties, we've done them in Canada, we've done them in America, we've done them in Africa, Dubai, China. We've gone worldwide because of it, doing all these Zoom parties. And it's just, you know, I do them in my office, but my staff just do them in their living rooms, bedrooms, stick up the banner and off they go. So, you know, because of technology, we've had a really wide audience really quickly.
That's really wonderful. It's exciting. Now, what can a kid expect? A lot of people out there are thinking, boy, kids just sitting looking at a screen, that doesn't sound like a fun party. It sounds like what you're doing is much more than that.
Of course. I think also, like our Zoom parties, so a normal party can be 2 hours long, but a Zoom party, we do them a little bit less, hour and a half max, because you don't quite get the engagement, you don't quite get the volunteers up, you know, you don't have that. You don't have all the elements, but you can still do all the magic. There's still the engagement. There's still the back and forth with the children. But what's really funny is when people say it was a 2 hour show, they're like, how can a 5-year-old be, you know, joining in for 2 hours? You know, I go and watch a theatre show for an hour and a half and I do switch off during it. Be like, no, it's got to be fully engaging. And like a stand-up comedian will probably have a laugh every 30 seconds. We need a reaction every 30 seconds is what I teach my entertainers. Whether that's being shouted out or them going, it's behind you, or going, it's over there, or, you know, no, you've done it wrong, or just shouting abracadabra, or zippity zap's our magic word. But, you know, it's always that engagement. There's that back and forth. And you can do that on Zoom, and you can have, you know, they can have all their friends from around the world joining in. So before, everyone had to be in the same venue. Now, as we have aunties, uncles, we've got some friends that might be in a different country zooming in. So you can Zoom to, you know, 50 people from all over the world. They're joining in. They're being engaged. They're being asked questions. But obviously there's magic, there's games, there's puppetry, there's quizzes. There's all that element. But there's a new interaction every 30 seconds, and that's how we try and roll with it.
Yeah. That's thrilling. I guess the only thing you can't do is share a slice of cake with the kids.
Well, that's it. And we've started doing social distancing parties now. And, you know, we're very much, it's a show. Whereas before we used to get up volunteers and pass them tricks and they're breaking their hands and whatnot. So that element's gone. We're hoping that'll come back soon, but we can only do what the guidelines say. But it's, you know, you're still back and forth, and it is much better in person personally. But, you know, we have to make do. It's the situation we're in. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I hope one of the things that parents can teach their kids through this experience is, yeah, it's been very, very difficult, but we made it successful. We were able to, I don't want to use the word pivot because everybody's using that word right now.
I know, pivot and grow.
Yeah.
That seems to be
but we're able to roll with the punches, and we're able to, we can't have the same party, but we can do something that's even better.
It's just challenging, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we've done over 1,500 online parties. We were doing 400 a month from March onwards.
Wow.
It's slowed down now with kids going back to school and stuff, but our social distancing parties are happening now. What we're hoping here in the UK, I don't know what it's like where you are, but we're hoping the schools go back in September. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping hopefully 2 weeks in, there's hopefully no spike, you know, then things get loosened again. There's confidence in people going out. Then we can roll, you know, with more parties physically, because there is a real joy in seeing them. Because, you know, when you're setting up, you get there half an hour before. and this is another thing I tell my entertainers: get there early, because it's not about the party itself. It's about, making sure the children are relaxed, making sure there's an engagement beforehand, making sure there's no stress, no worry for the parents. You're there early, set up. It's all the experience. So, I'm looking forward to getting back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. My daughter is in the music business, and one of the things that she shares with all the artists that she works with, and everybody else who wants to get into the business, whether it's music or performance, she always tells them, on time is late. If you have a gig that starts at 2, get there at 1:45 or 1:30.
Not many musicians think that, but yeah, it's true from my experience. But actors a little bit, we're drummed into that a little bit more here anyway.
Yeah.
But we're talking about music. So we launched a music album. We've got a music album out, but we launched a new music album just before lockdown. And we had some music videos, and we just slowly released those all throughout lockdown. And because of that, we had a chat with Sony Music Group about them digitally releasing our music. So what I didn't realise is how important having an online following is. And I will do more of that now in the future, because we just thought we're physical, we don't need to be online. But actually, because we looked good online, Sony Music Group, and we've had chats with like some big players to run parties for them, from Paddington to Pokemon. So definitely make sure you look good online.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, speaking of online, where can folks go online to find out more about you and about Captain Fantastic?
Yeah, so our website, www.captain-fantastic.co.uk. But just on Facebook, write Captain Fantastic Children's Entertainment. We should come up, or Captain Fantastic Kids, that we should come up. And just write those in YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. We'll come up, Instagram. We're on all of them.
Awesome. And if you're listening when Tommy said the website, the extension is .co.uk, not .com.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. Hey, we've had a great time speaking to a kindred spirit of mine. I've had a fantastic time talking to the driving force behind Captain Fantastic. His name is Tommy Balaam. Tommy, thanks for staying up, and thanks for being with us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure. And if anyone in America wants to help me take Captain Fantastic there, I'd be more than happy.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Ariel Hobbs. She'll be here to celebrate Sully the Raccoon. If you are the author of a fantastic children's book, we would love for you to be a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Being a guest, it's fun, it's easy, and it gives you the chance to tell thousands of people about your fantastic book. All you need to do is go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Click on the authors Click Here button at the top of the page to learn what to do next. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so very, very, very wonderful. Starting with our guest, Tommy Balaam. Please be sure to check out his website. Also want to thank my team, starting with my producer, Fatima Khan, my awesome author ambassador, Peggy Cotto. Want to thank my amazing daughter, Alejandra, for all the incredible new ideas that she's bringing to the show. Also want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I want to thank Augie the doggy for having my back here, keeping me safe and secure in the studio. But most of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And as always, thank you so very much for making the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.